Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you my new tailgate mounted onboard air setup. So this is the second part of my tailgate project. In the previous video you saw we installed the Tuffy Security Enclosure. That was to secure my tailgate area and allow for cargo to not get stolen out of the back. But I also have been wanting to install my onboard air setup. So this is the ARB Twin Compressor. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But I went with this time instead of 2 via pumps like I have in the JK, because it's more compact and it gave me some better mounting options. And roughly the CFM is pretty close to putting 2 via air pumps in. As far as how fast it will fill up the 37s, I'm going to leave that to a future video because I want to do a compressor showdown between my dual compressors that I have in the JK and this ARB compressor here in the JL. But what I'm going to go through in today's video is showing you how I installed it, how I did all the wiring, and we're going to go over why I actually mounted it here as opposed to some of the other locations that seem to be quite popular. So I have the pump mounted to the tailgate. I wanted to try something different. I wanted the pump in the back, and I like that when I open it up, you know, it gets fresh air. It's not going to overheat. Bought the JCR tailgate molly rack, which is in a previous video if you want to see how that got installed. I made some mounts and mounted it up to the tailgate. When I close it, everything is secured underneath my security enclosure. So I can leave my Jeep completely with the top down or open. Well, I have a soft top, so it's not the most secure anyways. But essentially, when we close this up, everything is secured within there. And I've got my air hose here, easy to access and quick to grab. Temporarily, I've just put the switch right up here that we can flip on, and it doesn't come on unless you use it, but you can hear the fan start up, and these pumps will go once the pressure is released on this small little tank. Now I'm still trying to think what I want to do for a permanent switch location. This one's just kind of mounted to the side. I think I might get a single switch holder and just put it right here so that you can reach in and turn it on as needed. And then I've got some of the wiring tucked in behind here, but I've got this loomed up, Velcro tied to the existing wiring harness so that it closes up and doesn't interfere with anything. As far as wiring goes, ARB says to use 10 gauge wire. I went with 2 8 gauge power positive wires and an 8 gauge negative wire. You're probably wondering how I got the wires to this. We started over here in the interior, in the engine bay. We've got the 2 40 amp fuses here and a small 5 amp fuse for the switch, because the switch needs to be powered. Now you could run this switch off the power for your auxiliary switches. I might actually switch this over to the auxiliary switch so that it can't be turned on accidentally unless the Jeep is on. And then we've got our 8 gauge wire here for the negative, going to the negative terminal. So how did I route the wire? into a loom here and across the top of the engine bay. Now, the diesel is a little bit different as far as engine bays go. It's a little tighter, it's pretty hot, and I kept it up and out of the way. And then we went and reused the clutch pedal pass-through hole that a lot of people use if you have an automatic. And we passed the wiring loom down through the firewall into the cab of the Jeep. From there, I learned a whole lot about what goes on in the interior, but basically I pulled off all of these interior panels, and in here is much tighter than on the JKs. And I had to remove some additional pieces underneath here to have enough room to get the wiring to go underneath these panels and get the panels back on. All of the trim in the Jeep comes off really easy. It's basically just pull it off, and there's just clips. And from there we went up behind the carpet, behind the seat, and we've got a loom run right here. From there, there's a gap that runs alongside the security enclosure that I was able to bring the loom up along the outside of it so that my enclosed area is not doesn't have any wires or anything like that that could get bumped or moved around. And then we brought the loom up through here and connected it up to the existing harness that the ARB pump comes with. Now, these are 8-gauge wires, so soldering these is a little bit challenging. I ended up going and getting a 60-watt soldering gun, as well as I used, I think, 60/40 flux core solder to be able to solder these big connections. And then you do a little trick with wrapping some single braid copper wire around the outside to hold the connections together, and then solder them so they're nice and strong. I'm not worried about any of these connections, and then we heat shrink them basically afterwards. I've got a temporary quick connect on here. I did order the ARB one. The reason why I ordered the ARB one is, after reading a little bit, these get quite hot because of their proximity to the air tank and the compressor pumps, and the pumps do get quite warm when they're operating, so don't touch them. So I'm going to be replacing this with an ARB quick disconnect, which has a rubber handle on it, or a release on it, so that you don't burn yourself after you've been airing up your Jeep, and maybe a couple other Jeeps that don't have onboard air. So this is mounted on to this molly rack system with a couple of aluminum plates behind it. And essentially I did the same thing for this, I forget what these are called, these clamps. But this one is actually for a fire extinguisher, and I just kind of repurposed it to then hold my air hose, and you just pull up on this and it will release. You can grab your airline, connect it up. What would I do differently about this installation? Well, I'm still not 100% sure I will keep it on the tailgate permanently. I have looked at some other solutions that put it down here in the cubby space. The only reason I didn't want it in the cubby space right now, I still put my fridge right here, and I still put a bunch of tools, and I thought that that would be way too hard to have to pull everything out every time I want it to air up. But I've been looking at some other options from like American Adventure Labs, and they have a system that then can relocate the quick connect for your pump, and you can put it up here on the side. I'm just not sure if I want to have that exposed and maybe getting wet, because I like to drive around with no sides on here, and you can see it, you might be able to see right now it's kind of raining. The other thing that I'm pretty sure I'm going to do right now, because I want it as a bit of a safety, is I'm going to take this wire off the positive, and I'm going to put a connector on it and connect it to one of the 4 aux switches, that then I can turn it on, or at least have it so that it's always on if the vehicle's on only, and then that way I can't accidentally turn that pump on and kill my battery if I'm out on the trail. There are some other ways that you could run the wiring if you wanted. Now the diesel is pretty tight, so I did pull a lot of this apart, and I was trying to get to the grommet that is underneath and behind the glove box. But on the diesel, it was just an absolute nightmare to get to. And so I decided to go through the hole that's already existing for the clutch pedal. So you're probably thinking, well, Casey, why didn't you just do what everybody else does and mount it behind the fender liner, which seems to be a very popular spot. I've noticed several different mounting systems coming out for that. Well, the thing is, with the diesel, you actually have your windshield washer fluid reservoir sitting behind that fender liner. So on the other side, we had the issue with the Falcon bypass shocks hitting the battery tray. Well, on the diesels, we have our washer fluid right here, which actually just goes down, and the tank is sitting right here behind the fender liner. So there's nowhere to mount that behind there. The other really popular option is to mount it here underneath the passenger seat. And when I was over at Epic Adventure Outfitters, Christian's diesel, that's where he mounted it. It's a great location. I really like it. And he's got 4 airlines that go out to all the tires and you gear it up really quick. For me, something that happens is when my daughter's out with us and we're off-roading and it's raining like this and she's sitting in the Jeep and I go to air up, she really doesn't like the loud noise from the compressor. So I wanted to have it mounted somewhere in the back. I know that with my compressors in the JK in the Tuffy Security Enclosure, they're way, way quieter. You can almost not even hear them. So that is something I wanted to do, is have it outside the Jeep if I'm opening up the tailgate, or if it's pouring rain, I can just close it most of the way so it doesn't get soaking wet. But my daughter can sit in the Jeep and not be annoyed by the loud noise of the compressor while we air up. When I get back from my road trips, which are going to be the upcoming vlogs after this one, so do make sure you're subscribed if you want to see some of these awesome adventures coming, I will do a comparison between the 2 Viair 480C pumps in the JK and the ARB Twin Compressor that we have in the JL now. Let me know what you think of this install. I know it's a little bit different. I haven't seen anybody mount a twin compressor to a tailgate before, and I like to be a little bit different when I'm doing my builds. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next week in the next upload.